Today we are talking 3 short game shots that are going to help you shave strokes off your next round. If you can do these, scores are coming down. Let's get into the first one. So here we find ourselves on the 16th green at Warrington, and I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paces until I get up onto the green. Not a lot in front of me, a slight bit of undulation here, but I would imagine it's a place where people who are struggling with their chipping take the blade. Now, the flag is quite a way back there, so it is almost like a long putt, and in some circumstances I think it could work, but the only problem is with the fringe grass and with it being a little bit more uphill, I'm going to tend to try and hit this a little bit harder to get it up the hill to start off with. So I'd get that and it rolls out, and lo and behold, I've hit a great shot to just do that every time. But the consistency of that shot would probably be very limited. When I'm going up and I'm changing speeds and so on and so forth, it's not going to be that consistent. Now, whether it would be that we go to a lofted wedge, i.e. a 54-degree wedge, or I play something more like a bump and run shot, what I'm able to do is take out the unpredictability of this little bit of the upslope and the snagginess of the green. Because if I were to take even my 8-iron, let's hit that one to start off with, if we're going to play more of a bump and run styled shot, we only need to do a couple of things to see that we would get more consistency with it. So if we walk around here a little bit, first thing first, we've got to change our setup from a normal 8-iron. So what I would do here, I would make sure that I narrow my stance down. I would see that 70% of my weight is now in towards my lead side, and I'm also going to just raise the handle up a little bit more so it does actually become a bit like my putter. I'm also going to go down on my grip here. I'm going to try and play it a bit like a putting stroke. So what I try and think of as I do this is my lead wrist is going to stay really flat, and then the triangle created between shoulder and hands, I'm just going to rock that. Nice and simple, rock it, and a little turn to the target at the end, and it doesn't require a lot of effort. It's very much like a small putting stroke for me. So ball in the middle of my stance, narrow stance, weight length forwards, try and keep this lead wrist flat, and then my putting style stroke, just popping my shoulders back and forth. And as I do that, even that I didn't quite get as well, and it's pretty much run out just past pin high. Was a tiny bit thin there, but it's something that if I can get used to playing this shot, even like I say, if I went to my 54 and adopted the same method, all I need to try and do is keep that lead wrist flat, play more of the putting stroke, just land it a little bit further, so a slightly bigger rocking of the shoulders. Even if I play that one, I'm going to see more consistency out of it and get it a little bit closer each time, just like that one there. So if you're struggling and you're always taking putter, try and master that shot. Lead wrist nice and straight, rock your shoulders like a putting stroke with your desired club from there. Let's go and take a look at your second short game shot. Shot number 2, the flop shot. It's a shot that looks cool if we can play it off, but sometimes I think people do too much when we're playing the flop shot. When we see Phil Mickelson or someone like that on television, we see real long swings, really cutting across it, ultra high, big wide stance, loads of speed. We need those elements, and the more we get accomplished at the shot, we can play that. But if we just do a couple of basic things, we'll be able to play a bit more of a higher, softer shot. So if we're going to do this, firstly, we're going to need the most lofted wedge we've got in our bag. So for me, a 58 degree. And if the lie's nice like this one here, and I've got a little bit of a cushion underneath it, what I can also do is actually lay the face a little bit more open. So as I place into just before getting to the golf ball, I lay the face open here now, and it actually goes up to like 70, 80 degrees. So already I've got more loft on it. What I'll do as well then, once I've taken my grip now with this open face, I'll actually lower the handle a little bit more. So instead of the putting stroke we saw a minute ago where I feel a little bit more upright, I'm going to feel open face, lower handle. Again, it's just adding loft, and what it's going to allow me to do is get the club sliding underneath the golf ball a bit more. I don't want to try and help it up. I've already made that club, like I say, 70, 80 degrees, so it's going to go up in the air. The next big thing, if we just wander around here, is all to do with how I deliver it and how I stand to it. So we want to see that the ball is going to be played more off the front foot. So it's not going to be in the middle here. It's going to be more off my front foot here. And then what I'm going to do is actually keep the weight still in that lead side, so like 60, 70%. And notice now my hands look very level with the golf ball. So they've gone lower, I've got more loft, and the level with the golf ball. As I come through, I'm going to try and deliver them back to level. And then as I go through, I'm almost going to try and get the club face to look back over my head here. So I'm not letting it release and taking loft off it. I let it go back over my head, see it pointing there, and that's going to send it up into the air. So again, once I aim, if we just look back this way from here, I take a pretty square aim, and once I've aimed this shaft down, it's pointing more towards my target as well then. Loads of loft, low handle, weight forwards, show the club face to you watching at home, and we should see a pretty decent lob shot here. And there, nice and soft, pops out, and that was it. Didn't have to have loads of speed, didn't really chop across it much, just made those small adjustments of opening the face, lowering the handle, and showing you the loft, and we get that nice little high soft shot. Let's go and take a look at the third and final short game shot I want you to master. Okay, the third and final shot. This is a bit of a tricky one to play, because what we see here is that I'm only one pace off the green, and then I've not got a lot of room actually down towards the flag here. Also, if we look at the lie that I've got here, it's not the best at all. Once I place the club in, it's a little bit almost buried. So we will find this when we get round the greens when we've just missed it. Sometimes we're faced with a shot where we really don't want to overhit it because we don't feel like we've got a lot of room, but then we get a lie where it's sat down. So we need to be committed, and we need to actually trust that it's just going to pop out and run a little bit more. So what we've got to do for this, what I would see a lot of people do, is select the right club in that they want to take a lot of loft, because all I'm trying to do is just lift it initially here and then let it run out. But what would happen is that we don't commit to the shot. So we would get something where we've got loft and then I go and I end up thinning it. That's actually worked out really well for me. But what I want to try and do is play these shots with a little bit more commitment. So I'd get the ball more towards the back of my stance, get the handle leaning forwards, and then I'm just going to feel that I'm cutting through the grass a little bit more. The loft is going to lift it out for me, and then this committed of just keeping the shaft leaning a little bit forwards is going to make sure that I brush through the turf. If it was sat really nicely, I could play a little bit more like that flop shot, but this is more aimed for that one where it's sat down a little bit in the fringe and not looking the best. Let the loft be your friend. You stay committed, and it won't go too far. It will just pop out because you've got your weight into your lead side, you've got the ball at the back of your stance, the loft does the job, commit, and we see it just roll out there and works out better than the other one. So if you just come from this angle here, we'll see how the setup looks as I just play this one. So ball pretty nasty there. I get it lined up off the back foot. I get a little bit more lean to use the leading edge as a little bit more of a cutter through the grass. I keep that weight slightly forwards, commit to it, don't quit on it, let the loft pop on it. And there, again, pretty decent, rolls out, and I've got a nice little shot there. Those are the ones that are going to require a little bit of practice because they feel awful, they're a little bit finicky, but if you can do that, get committed to it, you'll see that you start to get some good shots. So guys, give those 3 shots a go for me, then we'll start to see, like I said, you are shaving strokes off your score. Thanks for watching this. As always, hit that subscribe button down below for me. Want you to get better at golf, you're going to do that by joining me here on the channel. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.